All right, today we are jumping into one of the heaviest, most profound thought experiments ever cooked up. It's a question that gets right to the heart of how you live, what you value, and whether you could actually stand to do it all over again, forever. So, let's get into it.
So, picture this. You're alone, it's late at night, you're in what the source calls your loneliest loneliness, and a demon shows up. But he's not here to offer you power or money. He offers you this. Your life, exactly as it is, and as it has been, will be repeated on a loop for all eternity. Every joy, every heartbreak, every single mistake, every triumph, every boring Wednesday afternoon, all of it again and again and again. Nothing new.
And, right there, that's the entire question. What is your immediate gut reaction? Do you just throw yourself on the ground and curse this demon for condemning you to such a terrifying fate? Or, and this is the key, is there some part of you, some moment you've lived that was so powerful, so perfect, that you could actually look this demon in the eye and say, "You are a god, and that is the most divine thing I have ever heard"? That choice, that reaction, is everything.
So this whole idea comes from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and he called it the greatest weight. And that is the perfect name for it, isn't it? It's this massive conceptual weight that gets placed on every single moment of your life. It makes you ask, is what I'm doing right now, this very decision, worthy of being repeated forever?
Just try to wrap your head around the sheer scale of that. This isn't just a highlight reel of your best moments. No, this is the whole uncut director's version of your life. Every pain, every joy, every private thought, every sigh, even as Nietzsche wrote, this spider and this moonlight between the trees. Absolutely nothing gets left out. The hourglass of eternity is turned over, and you, this little grain of sand, you go right along with it.
So, what does it actually look like to curse that demon? Well, it means seeing life as something so broken, so full of pain, that repeating it is the ultimate curse. It's a worldview where life shouldn't be affirmed, it should be erased. And to really get a handle on this, let's look at a perfect, horrifying example of this idea, something called the all-consuming maw. Okay, so this entity is the ultimate rejection of you, of me, of any individual's worth. It doesn't see people or souls, it just sees fuel. It's got a name for it, lunch. It's a kind of spiritual energy. And for the maw, that unique spark that makes you, you, it's not precious. It's just a bug in the system, an error that needs to be gobbled up and wiped out. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On one hand, you have our view, right? That our consciousness, our spark of reason, is something special, maybe even divine. But then you have the maw's view. To it, you're a bug, or even worse, just seasoning. A little bit of flavor that makes the fuel go down easier as it's being consumed. It's a worldview with absolutely zero inherent value for an individual life. And if that's your reality, of course its repetition is a nightmare. This philosophy, this gospel of the belly, is just about as dark as it gets. Life isn't a gift, it's a digestive tract. The universe isn't a wonder, it's a trap. And your individuality, the thing you cherish most, is just a mistake, an error that needs to be ground down into uniform, anonymous ash. Yeah, that's a life you would definitely not want to repeat.
And this analogy just hits so hard. Your life, your identity, your memories, they have no value in themselves. You're like a piece of coal. You are only useful for the burst of energy you provide as you are completely and utterly destroyed in a furnace. This is the path of cursing the demon. This is a life with nothing left to affirm.
But what about the other path? The path where you call the demon a god. Now that's a much harder road to walk. And to really explore it, we're going to turn to a parable, a story about a wanderer who finds himself in a ruined city. So our wanderer stumbles into this totally desolate place. The city is in ruins, which you can almost see as a metaphor for a life lived with regrets, right? A life full of compromises and failures. And there, at the very center of it all, is this huge hourglass, bigger than a man, with its sand just frozen, waiting for a choice to be made. And out of the shadows comes this figure. It's not described as a demon or an angel, it's just a presence. And it lays out the same fundamental choice for our wanderer. You can leave, you can just walk away, or you can reach out and turn that glass and set everything back into motion. The terms of the deal are exactly the same as the demon's. Every joy, every act of cruelty you tried to forget, every single time you stayed silent when you should have spoken, it all comes back. You will love the same people, and this is the really brutal part, you will fail them in the exact same ways.
And this, right here, is probably the heaviest part of the greatest weight. There's no cosmic editor, you don't get a do-over, you don't get to learn from your mistakes for the next go-around because you won't even remember making this choice. It is pure, unfiltered, unvarnished repetition.
The Wanderer's reaction is, well, it's our reaction, isn't it? He just asks, bitterly, why on earth would anyone choose this? And the figure's answer is just stunning. It says that a few people, a very few, don't just accept it. They embrace it. They choose it with love, as if they were touching the face of someone they cherish.
This is where the parable drills down to the absolute core of Nietzsche's idea. See, the wanderer is still thinking in terms of escape. He wants to be unburdened from his past, to walk away lighter. But that is not what's on the table. And that is the line. That's the whole ballgame. Turning the hourglass is not an act of redemption. It doesn't wipe your slate clean. See, forgiveness implies something was wrong and it needs to be erased. Confirmation means you are willing to stand by all of it, the good and the bad, and say, yes, that was my life. Let it be again.
So you can see the two paths laid out right here. Forgiveness is about escape, about letting go, about making your burden lighter by cutting pieces of your past away. But confirmation? Wow. Confirmation is choosing to become strong enough to carry it all. It's accepting the full, crushing weight of your own existence and taking responsibility for every single piece. And in that moment, it just clicks for the wanderer. He realizes his fear isn't really about reliving the pain. It's the absolutely terrifying realization that there is no external savior. No one is coming to forgive him or to fix his life. He, and he alone, is responsible for what he was, what he is, and what he will be again.
And so we finally come to the choice. But the parable isn't just a story about a choice made in the past, it's really a guide for the present. It reframes this whole idea of the greatest weight, not as a curse, but as a tool.
And this is the key. This is the practical takeaway. How do you make eternal recurrence bearable? You live a life now that you would be willing to repeat. You act in such a way, moment to moment, that if the demon did show up tonight, you wouldn't despise yourself for saying yes. It turns a terrifying abstract idea into a powerful, personal, moral compass. So let's just quickly break down that symbolism. The figure isn't some god or demon judging you. It's the voice of your own ultimate responsibility. The ruined city, that's what a life looks like when you refuse to own it, when you don't affirm it. And salvation, in this story, isn't about escaping the loop. It's about having the courage to live a life that deserves to be repeated.
So he does it. The wanderer turns the hourglass, and the ruins don't magically fix themselves. The world doesn't change. But he does. He stands up straighter. He has accepted his life without remainder, meaning with nothing left over, nothing he wishes he could cut out or forget. He owns all of it.
And so we end by turning that massive question back to you. This is the challenge that Nietzsche leaves us with. It's not about trying to be perfect. It's about this. How well disposed would you have to become to yourself and to your own life, warts and all, that you could look that demon in the eye and crave nothing more than the chance to do it all again? To see that hourglass turn as the ultimate seal of approval on a life that was fully and truly lived? What would it take for you to get there?